Good morning. It is Saturday, May 2nd. Yeah.
Yes. Are you broken?
So I am outside right now. I am going to be checking on my little garden that's growing. See how those baby plants are doing. I don't know, I'm just really tired and I'm waiting for this baby to arrive. More specifically, one thing I've been thinking about is last time I was at my doctor's, he asked, kind of how I was feeling and just checking in with my emotional state and everything. One thing we did talk about was I am a little stressed about the logistics of having a baby during this time of quarantine and with the coronavirus going around, and particularly just all the restrictions that have been in place at the hospital. Because um, one thing is we're pretty private, like as a family, and so we really don't have a ton of really close friends um, nearby, especially people that we would, be okay just having watch or like having them watch Henry. Um, and with the current restrictions, Henry is not allowed in the hospital under any circumstances. So, like, if I went into labor, like, we cannot grab him and go and then wait for someone, to arrive to like take him home or whatever. So he's not spending the night with us. Like, he's not allowed in the living room. He's not allowed. There's no visitors allowed at all, other than like, yeah, like the only person allowed with you is one person. Typically, it's like the baby daddy, and that's it. Like, you're not allowed to have anyone with you, whether it's during delivery, after delivery. There's no visitors. There's nothing. So the problem kind of comes up with the fact that if I went into labor really fast with Henry. Like, I started straight into hard labor. When my contractions started, they were 2 minutes apart, so we had to like go to the hospital right away. And I'm just feeling so uneasy this time around because your second one, that labor process is supposed to be even faster. And I'm just so uneasy that, I'm going to have to start labor, or I'm going to go into labor, and I'm going to have to like go to the hospital by myself and like give birth. Like, obviously the doctor will be there, but like without Colton by my side, and like that's kind of unnerving, and I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously the plan is to have him there, but like I said, we don't have anyone close nearby that like lives near us that we would feel comfortable enough having um, stay with Henry while we're in the hospital. And so we've worked out a plan where my parents are going to drive up from their house to stay with Henry while we're in the hospital. Because another thing is once you're in the hospital, like, you can't leave. Like, they do this whole screening on you, and you get cleared to stay in the hospital for the duration once you get admitted. Um, and you can't leave, like, whether it's you or the person that's there with you, like your spouse. And so we're going to be there for like 2 to 3 days. And like, obviously Henry needs to be with someone. And the problem is my parents are like the closest ones to us, distance wise, that we would feel comfortable enough watching Henry. And they live an hour away. And like, they've been really prepared. Like, we've been in communication. They, constantly have their cars gassed up, and they have a bag packed in their car ready to go. but it's just like I had to go to the hospital immediately once I started labor with Henry. Like, I didn't have an hour to wait. Like, it was right away. And so I'm just really stressed out that, like, I'll go into labor with this one and text or call my parents right away. And then they'll jump in their car and start getting up here. But by the time an hour goes by, like, do I kind of just breathe through it and wait at home and try to, like, do the labor process at home because I know what I'm doing, and, like, hope it doesn't progress so fast that I'm, like, giving birth at home? Or do I just go to the hospital by myself and then hope that I don't give birth to her before her daddy can be there? Like, that's so stressful. Just emotionally, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know the right decision to make. So I've been thinking about that a lot, and I brought this up to my doctor, that was a concern of mine, and he totally understood. And it's just because it's just a weird time. Like, otherwise, if it wasn't all these health restrictions and things like that, we'd probably still have my parents be the one to watch Henry while we stayed in the hospital after she was born. But we would probably all go to the hospital as a family, and I'd be able to start, like, get admitted, start labor. Henry and Colton will both be there, and then when my parents arrived, they can just take Henry, take him home, and we'd be all good. Like, we could all stay together to a certain degree. And we can't right now just because of the legal restrictions in place, and it is so stressful to navigate that right now. So anyways, when I brought this up to my doctor, he asked how I would feel about possibly doing a elective induction. And honestly, like, the thought has crossed my mind, but I haven't really given it any serious thought. It's not that I'm, like, 100% against stuff like that, but I'm not for it either. I never thought I would really have to consider it. Because, like, unless there's, like, some sort of medical emergency or really valid medical reason to do that, like, I just don't see the point of doing it. I'm just like, no, like, the baby will come when it's ready, and that's just kind of how things go. But honestly, like, I've been thinking about it more and more, because what I realized was, if I was able to know what day I was going to go into labor and everything, my parents could already be up here, and they can be with Henry, and then Colton and I can go to the hospital at the scheduled time, and it just takes all of that uncertainty and emotional distress away. On the other hand, I don't quite know how I feel emotionally about inducing labor. I don't know whether I'd feel guilty about it or I would regret it later, so that's definitely a big deal to consider. But given the circumstances of what's going on right now, I don't know, maybe it'd be the more responsible decision to make. I don't know. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I mean, as long as I'm far enough along in my pregnancy, where she's fully developed and everything, I don't see there being, like, a huge risk health-wise. Like, I'm already full term. I'm waiting for it to come out any day now. So, I don't know. It's something to consider for sure. I think sleeping under the trampoline is, like, Misty's new favorite thing. She's gonna be so sad when we dig the hole to make this an in-ground trampoline. I feel bad. It's like her perfect little shade spot.